Pretty brief video here today on 1953's Four-Sided Triangle, directed by Terence Fisher. We discussed another 1950s sci-fi venture from Fisher's earlier filmography, also released in 1953. That title was, of course, Spaceways. That picture was essentially just a murder mystery in the context of a rocket laboratory, although not a particularly bad film by any means. However, Four-Sided Triangle, though set in the rural English village of Haldane, shot in Lulworth Cove, has far more overt science fiction themes than Spaceways appeared to. In Four-Sided Triangle, three young friends invent a duplicator which can even create an exact copy of a living organism. Too exact, as it turns out. This film might be described as a four-sided love triangle. It is a fairly silly premise, although rather emotively depicted. I think that the fairly restrained timber performances actually add to the selling of this narrative, because otherwise, taking the material too seriously in any performative manner other than B-movie, slightly emphasize what you're saying, line delivery, it really wouldn't come across very well. I love the film's photography of the rural English countryside tranquility. Reg Wire is not considered a seemingly a very prominent cinematographer, although he worked with Fisher again on two other productions during the later 60s, Island of Terror and Night of the Big Heat. A film with strong mood, contrived plot gravitas, and relaxing aura. Why a relaxing aura? Well, because I feel as though watching Four-Sided Triangle, at under 80 minutes in length, is an experience of old horror, dingy romance, goofy sci-fi, and English countryside frolicking. It can be used to set one's mind in a good place one morning, if you are so inclined. Although the film is not truly profound, legendary, or even overly impressive, it is a modest, cozy speculative fiction/rural romance piece of wool. Its detriment is really its screenplay on paper. Its strength is in its visual charisma, able framing, creative photography, catching lab sets, and magnificent nature photography. Four-Sided Triangle is trying to be a horror, sci-fi yarn. I say horror just because the mood is overall grim and about man's dangers and hubris, downstream of Frankenstein obviously, but also a dramatic, moving, veiled romance narrative, and it manages to convince one, at least me, that it is a powerful saga. No doubt this was visual practice for Fisher, as The Curse of Frankenstein was only a few years away, and solid practice it is, I think. That's some more 1950s sci-fi for you all today, and from the UK for a slight change. I hope all are well.